Hi, I am Minki Kim. I'd like to show how easy it is to make this scallop-edged basket. At my home, I often use it for my binding clip pins, and for the big one, I use it for my girls' hair ties. And my pattern scalloped-edge basket trio comes with the 3 sizes. So today, this is the big size, and this is the small one. And today, I'm going to show you how I make this medium basket. What you need is 2 contrasting fabric or 2 matching fabric. One is for exterior, one is for the lining. And you need the same size of one single-sided fusible foam. I use the Bosal single-sided fusible foam. So what you need is just fuse your exterior fabric to the Bosal foam, and the lining doesn't need any interfacing. So to transfer the template, on the wrong side of the lining, cut out your template, and then put on the wrong side of your lining, place on the template, and trace with your fabric pen. I use the friction pen. Put it like here, like on the kind of a center, and then draw, and then flip it like this, and then trace all the line, and then between, make sure to draw the line like this, and it will look like. And you are like almost done. What you need to do is just stitch it. I will show how easy it is. So on my pattern, I stitched a 1/4 an inch inside from the drawn scalloped edge. Start from a little bit on the line here, and make sure to back stitch when you start. Back stitch. And stitch all the scalloped edge. Stop, and then make sure it doesn't move. So you can use the binding clip, or like me, you can use just with your hand, press it so it doesn't move. Stop. And once you're done, make sure back stitch. And make sure if you are happy with all the round edges. If it's not, just stitch again. Okay. Then the other side I would do with the same manner. Back stitch when you start, and then keep stitching the raw scalloped edges. And back stitch. And you're almost done. You may not believe how it is easy. Using your rotary cutter, just trim here. And then we use your scissor. Trim along the traced line. So your seam allowance will be the 1/4 inch, not 1/8 an inch, not 1/4 inch. The reason is that way the round is smooth. Otherwise, you have to clip all the way like this. So to save time, I just use the smaller seam. So when I make a round edge project, I use a smaller seam instead of snipping all the round edges. And what you need to do is just snip here, but be careful not to cut your stitch line. Just here, a little bit. Okay, that's it. And then the other side, And then same manner, just a snip, and be careful to not stitch your stitch line. Do not cut your stitch line, and that's it. And here for the lining, here you also need to trim. So just all together, lining and exterior fabric, you cut all together at the same time, like this. You can use rotary cutter if you want. And the fun part, in the pattern, I said to use 2 small lining, but I found 1 piece of fabric is easier. So do not confuse. It's okay to use 2 lining pieces, or like I do now, just use 1 piece of fabric and then cut in the middle, like I do now, like this. This is what I found after I released my pattern. So, okay, now all 1 piece of a panel, 1 piece of exterior, and then 2 lining. What I'm gonna do next is I wanna attach my cute label that goes with. So when I like to my label pop up, I use a piece of the wool felt. So put it under. That way it looks more better because it doesn't show up too much like I did here. So it's my tip. Just cut like 1/8 inches seam bigger than your label and then put on your center like this. When I do, I put a little bit upper, not exactly center, because this is gonna be the seam. So we put it like this here. It's on the center now. I'm gonna move to the sewing machine. Stop it and then turn. Then clean the thread, and it's assembled already. Okay, so what you do, just fold, so all the exterior fabric is facing together like this, and pin like this, and like this. So make sure they are all like aligned together, exterior, lining. And the other side too, just pin and move this lining away. Let's start sewing. I want to show where to start. So from here, you stitch the scallop edge, right? You see the stitch line from here and away, like a 1/4 inch away from here. So I am gonna stitch here like this. So make sure you don't stitch your lining. You wanna stitch only exterior, 2 exterior panels together. Okay, and then make sure back stitch when you start. Okay, and then keep stitching. And here too. And then before I stitch it here, I would just stitch here. That will be easier. So what you do is you need to bring this exterior panel away. So you can stitch only lining panels together. And when you stitch, you wanna gradually increase your seam allowance. So that way lining is fit better. Okay, so you don't really need to mark, but I will do for you, so you can remember. So what I need to do is push it. The back side will be look like this. So make sure you stitch the only lining part this time. And starting from here and back stitching with, oops, back stitching. And then gradually increase your stitch length about 1/4 inch seam like this. You can see the seam allowance is bigger on the bottom, okay? And then do the same on the other side with all the lining. Then move the exterior panel. You see here is a stitch a little bit, and I would cut like this, snip a little bit here. Okay, okay, good. All the lining together. Oops, I cut the thread. I'm gonna do it again. So what I need to do is you match the opening here, 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 and then stitch, and make sure to back stitch in the beginning and end. And here too. And then the lining also. Just to leave the opening about here, about like 2.5 inch when you stitch the bottom. And with the 1/4 inch seam, stop, and then leave an opening, and then start sewing here with the 1/4 inch seam. And then finish by stitching these openings. And then I would move the seam allowance like the opposite direction. And make sure it's all the same way like this. And it doesn't backstitch. This machine doesn't backstitch or cut or anything. So we're just gonna. So we are done. I'm gonna turn the right side out through that opening. Oh, before that, for the better, nicer look, I would clip here the foam a little bit like this. A little bit like this. It's not necessary, but it's my tip after making so many scalloped baskets. So let's just see how our basket turned out. So with here, with your finger, just push it out like this and shape it. And then also all the corners looks nice and even. So my finger is in the inside of the opening, so pushing it out like that, and then it's done. And then let's press. Let's press. So to make the nice scalloped edge, what I do is put the lining away like this, pulling the fabric inside, and then push it like this. That's how my scalloped edge is smooth and even. And if there's any wrinkle, just carefully iron and be careful not to burn yourself. And we are done. So what you need to do is just close the opening by hand or by top stitching like this. And you are done. Now you have 3 baskets. And if you attach your handle, it can be your Halloween bag or Easter bag or your fruit bowl, whatever. The possibility is endless. I hope you enjoy making these cute baskets with me. I hope to see you soon again. Thank you.